You can use a wide variety of software to subscribe to syndicated feeds. The most commonly used ways to subscribe are using a browser, using a web-based reader. You can use an offline reader. You can even use a smartphone. So if you have an Android or an iPhone, you can read your feeds using that device. Let's look first at subscribing to feeds using browsers. All of the most commonly used web browsers support RSS feeds. When you subscribe to a feed using a web browser, the browser will store that information on your hard drive so you can see the feed update every time you start your browser. Much like the browser stores your favorites, your themes, and other customizations. That's very convenient. The only drawback is you will need to configure your browser separately on each computer you use. But then, the feeds you might want to see at home are probably pretty different than the ones you might need to see at school or at work. Let's look first at subscribing to feeds using Internet Explorer. To subscribe using Internet Explorer, you must have version 7 or later. The current version of Internet Explorer is version 8. If you are still running a version older than 8, you should update it. Staying on top of updates, particularly for your browser and operating system, is critical to your computer's security. As I mentioned, you must have Internet Explorer version 7 or 8 to subscribe to feeds. Internet Explorer uses a slightly different method of subscribing to feeds. Internet Explorer uses this feed button on the menu bar. As you can see, on the iGoogle page, there are no feeds detected. The button is gray. When I click on this ProPublica website, there are feeds detected and the button has turned orange. To subscribe to a feed from Internet Explorer, click this orange button. Once you've clicked the button, click the link that says subscribe to this feed. Then at this dialog box, just click subscribe. You want to put it in your feeds folder and click subscribe. And the feed is subscribed to. I'm going to close this. And now I'm going to go to the View Explorer bar's feeds, and you can see that the ProPublica feed has now been added to my feeds list. And there's the ProPublica feed. Here's the feed from the Atlantic Food Channel that I added earlier. And here's a feed for the Serious Job Seeker, one of the ways that you might very easily use feeds in your not too far distant future. Should you want to delete a feed, just right-click on it and choose Delete. Say yes, and that feed is gone along with everything else connected to it. You can close this Favorites bar. Let's go to Home, back to Google. And again, we can go View Explorer bars, Feeds, and we see the two feeds that we have, the ProPublica feed we just added and the Serious Job Seeker feed that I had added earlier. To add a new feed, simply browse to the website and choose the orange feed icon. This is gray now because we've already added this feed. The second browser I want to demonstrate subscribing to feeds with is Mozilla's Firefox. Firefox is a freely available open source browser. It's currently used by between 20 to 30% of web users. A lot of people cite security as their reason for moving to Firefox. It does generally have fewer publicly known security vulnerabilities than Internet Explorer, and statistics show that what vulnerabilities are found are fixed faster with Firefox, so it is often regarded as a safer browser. You can download Firefox from firefox.com if you want to. If you are running Firefox, you should make sure that you're at the most up-to-date version, which is currently version 3.6.8. So let's have a look at subscribing to feeds using Firefox. So let's look at how to subscribe to feeds in Firefox. Once again, I've got an iGoogle tab open and I have the ProPublica tab ready to go. iGoogle doesn't offer a web feed, ProPublica does. When I click on the ProPublica tab, the orange RSS button feed appears up here in the address bar. Just click on that, and we're going to subscribe to the feed using live bookmarks, which is the term used for subscribing within Firefox. So I'm going to click subscribe now, and now we have a choice to make. We can load it in the bookmarks toolbar or in the bookmarks menu. Right now I'm going to choose menu, and I'll show you toolbar in a minute. So let's subscribe using the menu. I'm going to close this tab, and looking at the bookmarks menu, you see we now have the ProPublica feed right here. Let's choose another site that has a feed. Let me see. Let's go to Guardian. That's almost bound to have a feed. Yes. And let's choose again. Click on the button. And I'm going to say subscribe now. But this time I'll use the bookmarks toolbar instead of the menu. So I'm going to leave it on toolbar and choose subscribe. And closing the tab. Now up on the toolbar, I have a button that gives me the feed from The Guardian. Okay, so that's the difference. If you want to remove feeds in Firefox from the bookmarks menu, just right-click and choose delete. From the toolbar, just right-click and choose delete. Notice that you can put feeds together in a folder. This is a folder full of feeds from the New York Times, just so that because you're going to rapidly run out of space along your toolbar. And as you can see, I have tabs sorting out what I look at, folders sorting out what I look at here in the toolbar. Right.